So this story time comes from about a week and a half into when I met my partner. So to begin with, I met my partner on Bumble. Bumble, if you're not familiar, is an online dating platform, but on Bumble, women make the first move. One random day, I signed up to Bumble, I made a profile, I started looking through pictures of people, you know, guys, whatever. Saw a couple of guys, thought, okay, he looks okay, whatever. But then this little like notification popped up on my screen where it said you can access your gallery for like, I don't know, $2.49 or something like that. So the gallery is essentially all of the guys who have seen your profile and have liked your profile. So dare I say, it's easy pickings, isn't it? If you access the gallery, then these people have already seen you, already liked the look of you. So it makes it easier to start a conversation because you're already starting on the basis of like, okay, I guess this person might have a bit of interest, whatever. So I'm there scrolling through the gallery, scrolling through the gallery, scrolling through the gallery. And this is the same day I signed up to Bumble, by the way. This is not a couple of days later. This is literally the same evening. Then I see this guy, handsome, melanin, beautiful, lovely smile, looks very warm and friendly. And for me, that was the number one thing at that time. Like, I wanted someone who was going to be warm, open. I didn't want the strong silent type. I've had enough of those in my life. I decided that, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna check out his profile, but first let's just keep going, because you know, single, keep your options open. So I'm continually like, I'm scrolling through. So I'm looking down, like I'm saying, okay, cool, a couple of guys on here, okay, cool, but I still haven't seen anybody that kind of caught my eye like this guy. So I scrolled back up, found his picture, went to his profile, looked on his profile like again, read through what he put as like answers. He made a couple of comments about like primary school, what he did for a living, and just generally just seemed like a regular normal guy. So I'm like, okay, because you know, let's face it, online dating, you come across some strange folks, okay? So anyway, I read his profile. I was like, okay, cool, he looks normal, he seems okay. Yeah, why not, let me just send him a message, right? So I sent him a message. He responds to me pretty much straight away, and we start chatting a little, but it was quite late at night, so I think he said something about being tired, and I said to him, well, if you're a bit tired, it's cool, we can continue chatting tomorrow. So that's what we did the next day. Woke up, continued chatting, and we just started to get along really well. We chatted. He again seemed very normal, very chilled, very nice, down to earth kind of guy. So you know, we kind of talked about our background, our families a bit, hobbies, music, all of the regular stuff that you talk about when you just met somebody. We went from Bumble messaging to WhatsApp messaging, and then from WhatsApp messaging I did some more by video call, because you know, online dating, you have to do the catfish check. Just a tip, guys, if you don't know, you need to do the catfish check like from early. You know, you can't be out here chatting to someone for ages upon ages and you've never actually seen their face. This was at the end of lockdown, so I was just like my regular homely looking self. He kind of said, I don't really look very like outdoors presentable. I'm like, nobody is, it's lockdown. His face actually matched his pictures. I'm like, okay, cool, this is the same guy, cool, handsome guy, okay, cool, actually even better smiling person than like the pictures. I was like, okay, cool, this is nice, going well. We went on a first date, which was just very, very chilled. Again, it was the end of lockdown, so it was quite quiet, like nothing was really open like that. So we went to the park, which for me is actually very nice. You know, it's a public place, because you know, I don't know this guy. I think we just had like coffee and stuff and walked around the park, we chatted. It was like early spring, so daffodils were out. He like picked a daffodil, gave it to me, a very cute star. Very sweet. We just chatted like we just kind of knew each other for a long time, and it was, again, it was very nice, it was very relaxed, very chilled. At the end of the first date, he like walked me back to like, not directly to my house, but close to my house. Side note, he would have walked me home if I had wanted him to, but bearing in mind I didn't know him very well, I didn't really want to actually bring him directly to my house for him to know where I lived. When we got close to my house, I just kind of said, okay, like the bus stop was nearby for him to get on the bus to go to his house. So I just kind of said, okay, well, you know, the bus stop is here, we can kind of just, you know, we can part ways here, but I'll text you and let you know when I get home. And he said, okay, that's cool. So he said, I would like to see you again if you'd like to see me again. I said, yeah, that would be nice. He looked so happy, trust me. Like his face literally lit up. He looked so happy. So yeah, everything was going nicely, like no like red flags or anything. Everything was just smooth, nice, no crazy like fireworks, like butterflies, anything like that, but just happy, warm feelings, you know, like I feel safe with this person. We seem to be getting along really well. He seems down to earth and very normal. I feel respected and safe when I'm with him, which is a good feeling to have. I'm like, everything's going nicely. Until one day after this, I'm at home, I'm chilling, I'm watching a program on television. I can't remember what this program was, but it touched on medical conditions. And then I thought to myself, oh, I forgot, I haven't asked him one of my screening questions, one of my most important screening questions. You know how when you meet somebody, there's just certain questions that you always ask them to just get a lay of the land, get any kind of issues that may potentially arise. I have a certain set of questions that I tend to ask about. So I texted him and I said, this might be a bit out of the blue. I hope you don't mind me texting you, asking you this, but do you or anybody in your family have sickle cell? So you know on WhatsApp when you get the 2 blue ticks, so you can see somebody's read your message and it says online, so they're still there. So there was a bit of a pause, and then I saw my partner's name is typing, then it stopped, then typing, then it stopped, then typing, then it stopped. And this went on for a good, I don't even know how long. My heart literally was like, boom, 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 boom. I sat there, I was like, crap. He's gonna say yes. Because guess what? If it was a no answer, the person on the other side would have just come out and just said no, innit? They would have just said no. The fact that they're typing, stopping, typing, stopping, typing, stopping. It went on for a good 2-3 minutes. It was one of the longest 2 to 3 minutes of my life. It was so scary to me because I just sat there looking at it like, oh crap. And the thing is, I was sat in the dining room with my mum. We were watching the show. And I'm sitting there with my mum, just trying not to freak out at this point. I'm just sitting there like, oh no. Please, please. Because you know what? I've asked this question so many times of so many guys, and nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever come back and said yes. Until now. So yes, he finally replied. He said that his father has sickle cell trait and that he also has sickle cell trait. Sickle cell disease is carried mainly by people of African descent. Sickle cell is a blood disorder that is genetically carried. So you can't catch sickle cell from a person, but you can be born with sickle cell or you can be born with a sickle cell gene. What happens to people who have sickle cell disease is that they have what's known as a crisis, which is when your red blood cells, which are usually round, become a moon shape or a sickle shape. When that happens, it becomes very difficult for the blood to flow around your body normally, and you get pain. My father had a variation of sickle cell disease, which is called sickle beta thalassemia. For me, being his daughter, I have sickle cell trait. Sickle cell trait can also bring its own set of complications, but in the general case, they are not as severe as if you have sickle cell disease. I don't have any symptoms at all. I lead a very normal life. I'm fine, but I am very, very aware of what could happen if I have a child with someone who also has sickle cell trait. If you are a person that has sickle cell trait and you have a child with a person who has sickle cell trait, you have a 25% chance of having a child who has sickle cell anemia, i.e. sickle cell disease. You have a child who may have a potentially debilitating lifetime condition. Like, I know I'm telling this story with a lot of like light-hearted, you know, vim, because this is just how I am. But the truth be told, at that point in time, my stomach just dropped. It literally dropped. Because I just thought, finally I meet a guy who seems to be like genuine. I have a really good vibe from him. I feel safe with him. You know, we have like some similar like cultural backgrounds, even though like I'm from the Caribbean, he's Nigerian, but either way, things about our backgrounds are we have them in common, and he just seems like a genuinely loving, caring person. And now, of all of the times to know that somebody has a blood disorder that we could potentially pass on to our child, bloody scary. I didn't react outwardly, but inwardly I freaked out. I really freaked out. I just thought, do you know what, okay, do you know what, just call it quits. I don't think this is really gonna work. In the past I have seen like red flags in people and just be like, oh okay, just work with it, it'll be fine, we'll move forward, it'll be okay, only to realize that it wasn't okay. So for me at this point, I just thought I'm gonna see things for what they are. I'm not gonna try to pretend like this will all be okay in the end, because usually it's not. If this is where we are and this is what's going on, I might as well just like face facts. I was ready to just cut off the whole relationship. I know for some people that might seem a bit shallow, but the thing is, if you have any idea about how debilitating sickle cell anemia can be, this is not just about me. It's not just about, oh, whether, you know, I really like him or potentially we could fall in love in the future and all of that kind of stuff. If you have a child with a debilitating lifelong illness, would you be able to cope with seeing your child in pain and knowing that you can't do anything to help your child in that situation? They are working on treatments and there have been some breakthroughs, but at the present time, from what I know, they're not available like on the mass market or generally in the NHS. Until something like that materializes, you're gonna have a child that potentially 25% chance that your child could be really sick. Is that what you really want to face? Would you be able to cope with that? It's easy to say, oh yeah, I'll be fine with it, but when reality hits you, when your child gets sick in the middle of the night, or you have to take time off work, or your child is really unwell and they have to look into your eyes and you can see that they're in pain and there's only so much you can do to help them, would you be okay with the decision that you've made to go forward and have them at that point? The best I can describe the way I felt, honestly, I was shit scared. I was really scared. It was really frightening. I came this close to calling it quits. So what made me change my mind? I had to kind of talk to myself and say, all right, cool. Like, I know you're freaking out right now, but let's just take our time. Let's take our time. Let's think. Let's breathe. Okay, let's not make any rash decisions. Like, and I think when it comes to that kind of thing, like, you can't just make a rash decision. It's early days. I don't even know if I really like this guy that much to even like want to have a child with him yet. I mean, I like him, but do I like him that much that we're gonna have a baby together? Like, I don't know yet. There's a lot of unknowns and I don't really know what's gonna happen. How do you know that this guy like isn't the most beautiful, perfect, wonderful person? It may just be worth it. I also thought about the fact that 25%, whilst it is a significant risk, it's not a majority risk. So the risk of having a child with sickle cell trait is 50%. The risk of, or the probability of having a child with no trait at all is 25%, and the probability of having a child with sickle cell disease is 25%. So actually 75% is in our favor and 25% not. So 25% is significant, it's a definite real possibility, but it's not the majority possibility. So we have 75-25 on our side. That's another thing I thought about. A couple of days later, I was chilling at home. I was watching a TV show about IVF and surrogates. I just sat there and I thought, you know what? This is a real possibility for us. We could potentially have a child by IVF. Surrogacy is a possibility. There are so many like options that are available now that never used to be available. So for us, it might be the best idea to just roll with it and see what happens. So he and I had a conversation after that. It was a little bit like tense. It wasn't tense between us, but it was just tense in terms of where do we go from here. From his side, just as from my side, his family had always warned him about the dangers of having a child with someone who also has sickle cell trait. But in the end, between the two of us, we decided that before we start panicking, let's just give it a go and move forward. honestly, the decision to carry on was more on my side than his side, because he was just more like, okay, let's chill and let's just see how things go. For me, I was the one that was just ready to bail. It's not working. Thankfully, in the end, I didn't. Fast forward, when I found out that I was pregnant, I was... Are you outside the door, babe? Because I can hear your footsteps.
You say hello?
Poor baby, he's probably like, this is so bright, mommy.
Oh no, yeah, it is bright. Bye bye.